likely transported to some place of torment. Njefela, for him to wait, be banked for eternal fire. And then this morning, a conglomerate of men, it is men in particular, we sent ourselves to hell because we wouldn't leave her alone. We sent ourselves to hell because we wouldn't leave her alone. Oh, and then I had a dream of some celebrity in this country, some dude that they try to marry me to, okay? I said it's a regular 9-to-5 job in corporate. That he had buttoned up to here. But that was something that he was prepared to be content with running with rather than being a star, a celebrity. Because for him to be maintained as a celebrity meant he had to carry on with occult magic. In other words, I reached him for Christ. What I'm getting at is that that join the team. Like I said yesterday, if you can't beat them, join them. But then there are others all of a sudden in hellfire because never force and never push. They will finally get what they want. They were trying to throw me into eternity. While others are going to be prepared, even though they're celebrities today, the muscle top, FHM models, body oil. They're gonna end up boring. Lydia that's a brown le hempe. That they've buttoned up to here. Lydia Jerez is a corporate, the cardigan, V. Company when about para cardigan, go corporate South Africa. Rather than unonzo bizun's all loyal Syrian. Always at the Cheletolo Holiday Awards. South Africa fela e mara in order for you to proliferate, boost career how tshwantsolo loya mzansi wonke ke mologile ngwana batho apere kono hempe ya kono po e fitlang mo molaleng mo company lo sebetsa 9 to 5 regular, then to essentially atlo tlhokafala bo tlhokonje fela alo tshwatla alo barswa hlo because untsa le pizza lateletse ngwana batho morao. A celeb, a very prolific one in this country, or ratiwang hot boy, like I said, una di muscle. So akasha imiswa vele alonga ko Sports Illustrated balo mo etsa photo shoot ka 6-pack ya gagantsa re bontsha dimbambo. That's what's good. He's that way. He's one of those bobo alpha male balatelwang morago ke ha a konompile up to here. Push up pampiri kopela copy machine in a cubicle ko 9 to 5 thing, cause at least more ke etsa msebetsi ke khutlisa borotho ko gae mara ke lo South Africa ka ofela ke be ke di heleng we ikisitse ngwana batho ko corporate a tlogela 9 to 5 a tlogela celebrityhood aba prepared to take in his stride about the colleagues a gage ditlo motsoro. Aren't you that guy from that show? Are you an actor? Oh, how the mighty have fallen. He took in his stride that bakampane ba re o wele, and so was no longer getting acting roles because he was getting older, even though he's still perfectly viable today. That konopo. Because what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet lose his soul? Scotch never dies. Una pere scotch never dies. E brown ya konopo e fitlang mo. Le jeresi ya cardigan ya go bora e 10. Le burugo bo 10. Bo khaki sorry. Le banta la teng le dieta tsa brown. A bora. But it was better than hell. So let's get warna. You think I'm the one here holding desperado? You think I'm desperate? Anything to get these guys off my chest. I don't rock up here in the name of the Lord. Hudura seriousness right now. Hudura khofedile. Hudura finality. Hudura fine. Hudura it's enough. Like the Lord has made extremely expensive iskati right now. He has made iskati extremely expensive. Akusena skati. Dalang tandaza lento le insaletse morago since like a sekitelo jola mara ka fa bophelo ba ka go morena Josa are the soul that sins shall die mara la nateletse morago le tlo itse gore lona ho wina lona le tlo itse gore lona ho tsawa trophy ke lona lo tlo congratulate ana. At the end of the day, you are a bunch of misogynistic psychopaths. Do you understand? Basadi keneng taba tsa go basadi ba be normal le lo iphelela le banka ka dinkane le ba goga ka dinko le ditsebe le ba kenye mo manyelong ba otlo otselang ko ona ba sa le rat mara la banyadis causing women to have affairs. How ka mo belana hore le tlo wina le cause tse serekise kana mo South Africa. Shame ke maswabi. I am desperately sorry ke maswabi. You are on your way out. Lo tlhokafala o tlo chang Shem, you know why? Because ocha before ocha. I want Tabashona from being burned in fires. Next thing they go to hellfire. After that, Ueloy. Uzo shama figa pambilo sasha. Ah, Shem. You had it coming. Nna ke le jweditse ke haleka loko nopa dihempe up to melala mo la par dipholo nna ke lona ka winter le ntse le busy le tshwere di-captain tsa le di-compartment le tlo jesiwa basadi ba lona ba tlo le pakela di-liquid fruit right next to kiwi le legapu ka mo ke sandwich le di-carrot because o healthy for his captain. Di colleagues tsa gago mo life di go botsa gore o tshwereng for captain ka jeko. Don't you want to dare lo ya ko kantineng a ro reka coke a ro jang kaofela a ro reka di-chips and then o tla di jaka borotho ba hao ba mosadi wa hao a o etsitseng bona tsa mo etsang a regular 9 to 5 boring job rather than rubbish that you're involved in right now. You are literally better off. So congratulations to that celebrity guy. I'm grateful that the Lord umpontshitse gore tlo tsena repentile mara ba bang ba lona yo weitsekeng le papa ure lo papa madiheleng and a le qeta o fitla da le ska re nna ka le jwetsa le tla be le jweditswe le wonilwe mara le fostile la nkutlwa. Anyway, re tsole pele ka di rubbish o wa ko MTN a ke re ke molora the way ke molora ka teng I finally tswa monna. All right, after that there's a guy that I thought was my future husband that I need to blow my nose. I'm sorry. There's a guy that I thought was my future husband. Do you want to know why I thought this rubbish was my future? I feel as if though maybe I should qualify why I thought this guy was my future husband. Ke feel like I qualify statement to say. Because one might ask Karabo, why would you think that he is your future husband? You see, how so tsebe nawe ya gao. How so tsebe ro bona nko ditorong. You will think ukuthi umuntu umyeni wakho. Motho ona, I started out having a crush on him in the beginning of my career. Go MTN. Maragaza go ena somewhere along the way because no on and off and really busy tiptoeing around each other. Finally, when I gave my life to Christ, I let go of anyone on a crush on them, and because of the fact that I was waiting now on God for a husband, and I kisa jola rafunje mo strateng in Jeffela just based on the fact that somebody owns shades. Alright? Yeah, that became a thing. This guy, abona ora iksana dabaleni. Aba decide horo utlong shapa ka pega mina phela. Mara asashel. Because sometimes these people are that freaking arrogant. Okay? So ke ha ke thola di toro. Where it is that ne ke mo lateletse morago mo torong. Ke mo lateletse morago. He was like, I just kept on dreaming about him a whole bunch. I had forgotten about this guy. And I just kept dreaming a lot about him. And in the dreams, I was always in a capacity where I was following him around. Some dreams he would give me attention. Other dreams he wouldn't give me attention. I then started seeing him. Downstairs there was a little fellowship for staff where they could go and pray, right? Yeah, whatever, or like do the Bible, whatever. I would go to these downstairs fellowships and I saw him there a couple of times. I'm in the beginning of my faith, so I don't know yet that not everybody who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven. Church presence, church attendance, and Christianity, activity does not make you muzalwan. So no mundlwana downstairs, go church at work. One of the days of which I actually walked with him to that place. One stop, and I walked with him to the downstairs church at work, and we had a brief conversation. All these things, then that I keep getting, like there were so many of them back to back. And a lot of them are also very lustful. The combination of these dreams, this guy also flirting with me, every so often chatting with me, every so often stopping to see what you like. He was busy talking with me 5 seconds away from Ugushela, this dude. When I saw that activity of his right next to the Toro, because I can't interpret dreams, because I don't know the dreams that are spiritual, and because I don't know how to see witchcraft from a mile away, I then went on right ahead to conclude Uguti is my future husband. Which is why all these ladies on YouTube that have these channels where they're busy out here talking about prodigal spouse, prodigal, look at that, getting you. Anyway, prodigal spouse, prodigal son, prodigal whatever's coming. Your husband is a prodigal right now. Wahlanya, he's gonna come around. Kingdom houses, kingdom spouses, sorry. Look, laba faz laba, I don't write them off as not bazalwane. I see myself in them. I see myself in them because there was a time when I thought I had met my husband. And I was so convicted that he was my husband, I was convinced. Do you want to know why I was convinced? I said that the Lord showed me that this is my husband. You want to know why? Because Nekimolora Lori. I dreamt about him a lot. And in my dreams, I was chasing after him. Every so often, there was a romantic encounter between us. There was always very strong feelings. And then in waking life, around, he had Christian activity. And also in waking life, he was flirting with me. So I concluded that my dreams were confirmation that that is my husband. I held fast to that and I ran with it. However, what I didn't realize is that indeed Nekemolora, and indeed there was spiritual activity, and indeed there was something significant about him, but it wasn't that he was my husband. It was that he was a man that wanted to make himself important in my eyes. We were flirting with each other for years until I gave my life to Christ. I stopped looking at him. I basically just let him fly like a bird. And he was that arrogant pampoon. They always are very, very arrogant. They're extremely narcissistic. And in that arrogance of his, hated the fact that the chick that was fawning over him over years stopped. And he wanted her to fawn again. I told you that witches are below the belt. There is a woman at MTN who bewitched me and nothing else. There's nothing that she was going to gain out of it. Just me being her fan. This dude literally did a spell to make me his fan. His feet I decided if I flipper like a pan, like a cook on a pancake. And I don't deny that if I had stayed at MTN, this dude would have probably eventually shell out. But I don't think he would have respected my chastity. I don't think he would have respected my Christianity. I don't think he would have respected the fact that I don't want to have sex before marriage. I think he would have wanted to either hit it and quit it. And if he did not hit it and quit it, but actually fell in love, he would not have been a godly man. So either way, not long bora, he was going to be that husband. You know, that husband. At first we started out real cool, taking me places I ain't never been, ass like it, and then he shows you flames later on. Nah, lawyer, this guy. I was a true born again child of the living God. So if I had married him, it would have been an unequal yoking union, and I was gonna be miserable. This man was arrogant. He wanted everybody to chase after him. He was a very handsome guy. And I liked him because he was good looking. But me having a crush on him was like Brad Pitt. All the girls like him. That's how this guy was. All the girls like him. So every woman that out here is smiling and out here flirting with him and giving him extra attention, me crushing on him was just another chick that was out here fawning over him. He did not see me as anything special, different, spectacular. I was just another woman that, how dare you stop thinking I'm amazing. And when I stopped looking at him, it was like no one stops looking at me, to him. And he made me look. He was a member of a cult. He was newly introduced into this cult. He's ever since then grown up in the ranks. He went on right ahead to marry a woman later on that same year. I lost everything in April. By December, like around May, June, he met a woman, and by December he was married to her. That woman was his judgment. She was the final decimation by Christ on him. Lomfaz wakhona, of which wam sotla on their honeymoon night, kadi fishnet stockings, because she claimed to be a virgin, and he was annoyed. But about why you so wrong, she making like 60 shades of gray. Or is it 50? I don't care. Shades of gray. When I'm looking for a pure Christian godly wife. Oh no, but that's the thing I keep saying. That are into occult magic. Habasa rata bazalwane king. And this woman, he met her esontweni. Shortly after everything of my life fell apart, which is why I said I dodged a bullet. That this guy, I was in the line of sight of a man that was actively looking for a wife. Months after I lost everything, after Minanga fire Ranje for no cause, and he thought now that I was no longer in his league, was another girl that would eventually become his wife. And this chick, he married her literally white wedding and everything by December of the same year. It happened masishanje like that. So basically what I'm getting at is that if at all this dude had rather looked at me and the two of us would have been together, just as quickly as he married that woman. He was not godly, he was unsaved, he was rubbish from the get-go. Do you understand? I was going to be in an unequal yoking marriage. He was an arrogant man that was going to expect me to basically lick his toes. He was going to expect me to, like, anything I must be at his mercy. He would never have been willing to make any concessions, coupled with the fact that he would have imagined that he's doing me a great favor by loving me. Congratulations. He went and married someone else. And I am grateful. Somebody else. So they basically were birds of a feather that flocked together. They found each other nicely together as two little witches in a marriage. Wabafra on the wedding night because of Indabeguti umfaz wakona. Umshaying ama fishnet stockings and something raunchy, and he felt a Christian woman should not be doing stuff like this. But you see, that's the thing, she wasn't saved. Nobody in there was saved. Boy Tunjefela were lost. Mara ona batla his bread buttered on both sides. A year later, ka birthday ya high. From what the Lord showed me, her sisters, birthday party surprise. And he was miserable, he was he was upset, he was unhappy, and he was at that stage stalking me. This dude that I thought was my future husband, I would only find out that he married somebody else a year afterwards, a year later. I found out only a year later on Facebook when I found him and his pics selling out. And I was devastated because I was holding fast to the hope that he was still mine. And it crushed me, it broke me. The whole entire time, however, he was busy cyber stalking me, ansashebela my content, and then made a decision somewhere along the way after marrying that other woman that he made a mistake. And then what decided? Uguti angisho vele vele khala ang shapa ka ditlhare tsa ke tlo go loya rong shebe mara nna ga ko responda ko wena. Wang jaya ngemiti to what is this? To never not only did this guy. When I found out that he got married, all along, you will never get married. You will never be in love. You will always just suffer and struggle so that I don't have to deal with the consequences of somebody else marrying you because I made a mistake. But when I found out 1 year later that he was married, he then graduated from just blocking my marriage prospects and my job prospects and me being ever found by a man again. What deteriorated to murder? Death spells king. Yes, like this guy pursued me with so much death rituals, suicide spells, like no man's business from social media, just to get away from his witchcraft. I've been taught lessons by Amatota Abolayo Takatayo guys. I have been trained by evil men. I have been trained spiritual war by diabolical, malevolent, nefarious, satanic spawn men. I have been trained by little omen babies with a 666 etched into their forehead from birth. I have been trained by evil men. What not to take in my stride. Men in the occult will make you run around in circles. Men in the occult will put you at their threshing floor, making themselves look like Boaz. Men in the occult will say, when you refuse to date him, and then say, what do you have to say now? After against a ritual. Men in the occult will make your life upside down, right again, upside down, inside out, front to back, and jogging in reverse. Just cause you refuse to date them. They will destroy your family, they will destroy your career, they will destroy your prospects for children. They will do the most. They will do rituals saying that you must get all the STDs or cocktail of them combined in South Africa until you die. They will do death rituals just cause or they will kill your husband if you marry anyway in a satanic ritual. Men in the occult will insist on having sex with you without protection but by HIV positive. And they will make you, who is under normal circumstances sexually responsible and would never go out like that, have a one-night stand with him and contract HIV that same night. Men in the occult, I have been trained by the Nchatsi. bafuna enye nenye into ebayifunayo abaqokanga i-underpant baqoke ama-diapers the way they are so incontinent. Amadoda in the occult bazo-insist on making you a lifetime nyatsi when you're just 23 years old. Azitshela ukuthi wena you're gonna be my mistress. I'm not leaving my wife when I'm 23 and make you give him 4 children without getting your own husband. Men in the occult do stuff like that to women. Men in the occult will keep you lingering on him. On his wedding day, he will go to a shrine and check on the woman that he is bewitching that he did not marry, in order to ascertain that even though he went and took his own wife, she will never get married. I have been trained. They will stand in front of a podium and do speeches and be at their wives' bedsides when they're giving birth to their firstborn children in marriages. That are his first, second, and third children, with the wife being unaware of the fact that a pregnancy high is not his first, even though she thinks it's his first too. He will have 3 other baby mamas. You are baby mama number 4. Men in the occult will take ARVs until they are untraceable on a rapid test, and then go with you to the doctor to take HIV test together before you get married. And the doctor will say he's negative, you're negative. Only for you to sleep with a man that's HIV positive and find out when you are 5 months pregnant that you're positive. And you will think that he cheated on you after you got married. But he will have entered into this marriage with HIV, but without telling you. Men in the occult do stuff like that. Abenandaba, they just take what they want. Their God is their belly, they glory in shame. Anything. And it is precisely because that God is killing them in their numbers. They gotta go. Like, you need to understand, they are destructive. They are destructive. They ruin lives. Lenjale decided ukuthi yena uthathe eyakhe image. Uzongi blocker from ever working again, so no other man will see me. Uzongi blocker from even meeting a man on Tinder, for crying out loud. And then when I found out that he was married, what decided ukuthi, okay, now she also doesn't want me. Now she's not busy waiting around for me, so she gotta die. Ang latella morago ka di death spells ka beka tloga mo social media. It would take 6 to 7 months for all these death spells to simmer down. So ke rutisitswe ke monna ole that I thought was my future husband wako MTN. What a death spell if ila jwang when it lands on your chest. He was the first person to teach me a death spell. He was the first person to coach me how to thrive or strive through a death ritual. To know what it feels like on my chest, to know what it looks like in my dreams. He was the first person to teach me the art of demolishing arguments and every lofty pretension that exalts itself above the Most High, and hold into captivity every thought to the obedience of Jesus Christ. That when you are severely depressed, that when you are weathering a storm, that it can never be so bad as hellfire. He made me train myself how to trudge through melancholy and foreboding that is not of me, until I pierce through on the other side. If I was not fasting, like as soon as I lost my job, I basically entered into a 3-year long fast, where it is that I was only eating once a day. If I was not in that fast, I don't know where I'd be today. This guy, Ole, that I used to think was my future husband, Wako MTN, he followed me around until I disappeared on social media, and then he let me go because I apparently had disappeared. He wasn't even sure if I was alive. But every so often he would do rituals to check if I'm alive, confirm I'm alive, and then do more rituals to make sure I never get married. He was at that stage the only person looking at me. Around the same time, my ex-boyfriend Nai Wabui was uyangikumbula, so I got double whammied by ex-boyfriend witchcraft alongside this freak that's trying to kill me. I had to deal with these spells with people experimenting on me because I had disappeared from social media. I had disappeared from any kind of trace in society altogether. Mara babang, they were still busy underground on me because they were stuck on me. My ex was stuck on me. So too was this dude wako MTN that I used to think was my future husband. They kill him here, make to Karabo in his mind. So even though I was out of sight and therefore ought to have been out of mind. But when I disappeared from my social media, largely the majority of which is ngoba it was indeed for them out of sight, out of mind. But ama stalkers were madoda about kohli, even when you disappear. Even when you take time out, even when you tell yourself for a year, they will keep on coming back because they are obsessed. These are the kinds of people that don't leave you alone simply because you moved town. They will find a private investigator to locate you so they can stalk you afresh. They will move their own entire lives to the province where you are now staying because they have made it their life's mission to be freaks surveilling you. They will literally move their wives and children to another state so that they can be close to the woman that they keep on surveilling while the wife and the kids think that hubby got a job in a new company and so I'm just supporting my man. Basa tsebo hore motho o movetse go Eastern Cape precisely because o utlwile hore Karabo o sebetsa for some company there. Ha se o lateletse morago ke monna o jwalo. And on top of that, una le mosadi wa hae. Top of that, no bana ba hae. Una le life kaofela on the surface that looks honest. Mara he is making impilo yomfazi or somewhere so unbearable that this woman is now deeply considering suicide because I can't leave South Africa, I can't leave the earth, I can't go and live on Mars. Angwas, they drive women to suicide. Indoda that has his own wife and children out yet determined to bulala umfazi ongakatshadwa omutshwere poho omubeyile ko hara danyane. Msadi wa teng ha tsebe bana ha ba tsebe abazi ukuthi kunendoda ehlanyayo because on the surface he just looks like a doting dad. Ngamadoda we occult labo. Hey, I've been trained. So while I was underground nekilateletswe ke mokgatla o wa Satan yako MTN that never let me go. When I came back to social media, of course, he reared his ugly head again. Of course. Because he never stopped thinking about me. Because they are obsessed. I keep dreaming about him on and off recently. Angim kulumi that much because he is so forgotten. Ginto ya khale so much. Otwapukhile so much. Like Jeresi ya khale ya mogodu so much that I barely mention him. But he is still just as busy as he was back then. I just don't talk about him that much anymore. At the time, in my mind. So that's why but I don't mention them that much in my ministry because they're irrelevant. Mara imitiabo iya perpetuator iya qhubeka. Their witchcraft still carries on. I have been trained by stalky men, Lankutla. I have been trained. My ex-boyfriend is another one who I'm just like 13 years ago. To this day, busy now. There was another one, wako MTN. I never dated him. Maranang Batla, he was a divorcee. Negisariken. Haseke khong latella morago ka di death spells again because azanka batla go ya dating le yena. And this happened when I was underground. He finally let me go because I was hung up on the guy that I used to think was my future husband. She's in love with someone else and just because of that. And that was grace from God. Because men like that can obsess over you. He has ever since then left me alone. Yes, like it auto foster because this stuff is spiritual, it's unseen. And when you highlight it, when you talk about it, Fontaine in a stray suit and say, when did I ever shall you? When did I ever call you? When did I ever do anything? You're girl, you're making these things up. They know that they can manipulate you spiritually, and because spiritual signatures do not have a fingerprint, they can just say, I didn't do it. And so they cause you to feel ingatu. And that's the very thing that makes them follow you around for all of your life. That's the very thing that makes them cyber stalk you. Uzushon. Bazoglandele muva. ha o ka nyala shem ke utlwela the ones ba nyalang ha o ka nyala o sa tsebe Jesu ai guys indoda yakho izoshona within a year or umfazi wakhona mabamkhiphela amandwendwe on the lobola negotiation day she's going to get struck by a car heart attack ukushona nje weirdly like Zahar shortly after bamkhiphela amalobola lights out amadoda in the occult when they have set their eyes on you bana ba gago ha ba tlo tswalwa safely you will miscarry almost every pregnancy in your marriage so you will have sorrow therein indoda yakho izoshona or uzohlala gula or uzokuchitela or uzokuchenchela because somebody is busy messing with his mind. That's why unequal yoking is just so dangerous. Like if you don't, like first of all, you need to protect yourselves by not being unequally yoked, but more than anything, your spouses are not safe when you are in an unequal yoking union because of the fact that anyone that thinks ukuthi upriti and basakfuna, anyone that feels possessive of you as the ex-girlfriend yakhona uzo decide ukuthi umyeni wakho suga move out the way. But ka le bolayela banna jo a go shebile from kwa gakala motho teng a nyala mosadi wa hae a batlo kenya monna go car accident jwanong you're a widow. Now you're a widow. You be thinking that on the but mara no, your man was killed by some occult ritualist because he could not stand your swanger belly on Facebook 7 months after you tie the knot. Obor kitaba ya hore you are looking happy and you're glowing. Abatlo bolaya ntata ngwana before ngwana tsalwa. Les ka rena ha ka le jwetsa hore ntho e bana ba lona e leng yona ke di widow makers la nkutlwa ba tlo tlhokafala. They've made enough women widows already. They have made enough women single for life, black women. They have made enough men hell-bound souls that are now burning in eternity because babulalele indaba yokuthi they dead go bayochata abo Karabo. They did go bayochata abo Bambi bezinja ezisangen. They went and did go marry umfazi ofunwa indoda thakathayo ethwele. So manje umyeni wakho usesihogweni manje before he can give his life to Jesus Christ because ex-boyfriend felt ingathi kwamela shone. But nobody's going to be accusing him of murdering your husband. You know why? Because your husband got a heart attack. Your husband was killed in a hijacking. No, your husband was murdered in a shooting at the mall. No, but your husband was in a car accident. What do you mean ex-boyfriend Spusiso killed your husband? No justice. Just inja that's gonna tail you and stalk you and make you a miserable single mom. Because he said so. Yena however uzohamba akhulisa abantwana bakhe ababone ka di graduation tsa ko high school, graduation ya ko university, o tlo fa ngwana skhiya ka 21st birthday when wena your baby daddy and husband is in the grave ka 21st go iwa mabitleng go lo tlhola ntatwa teng because o tlhokafetse when the kid was just 7. Because some ex-boyfriend made a decision that over my dead body that I'm gonna keep on watching your dumb life on Facebook. Ngamatota in the occult over there. And if you are not consecrated, if you are not a child of the living God, if you and your man are not God's servants, nizokhithwa igazi galula njewe. Or look at how they're trying to khetha my gazi. Look at how they're trying to spill my blood. Bona hore bang zama jwang ka lefu. Bona hore bang zama jwang ka lekasi. Bona bana hore ba sebetsa tooth and nail bokete gakakang hore nna ke ipolai. Go nzima. I gotta work like a dog just to live through each new day. Manje, this level of witchcraft over someone ongazi ukuthi grandshams khipani. Osa khona understand all this overwhelming sense of foreboding yini. Iphuma hwe umuntu ongazi ongakhona ukubona ukuthi grandshap this is witchcraft. Osa khona ngosebenzisa lenzo lamrana just to demolish these arguments and to flail a sword out here chopping up by the offensive word of God. that which is a diabolical strategy, that which is a nuisansical noise in the head. How is Hlongwane all accustomed to spiritual war? Udula otwere the sword, because you that samurai. Udula otwere the arrow, because you that archer. Hai bane, ha o warrior. Letlo nenze le boloka bana. Letlo nenze le boloka banna. Letlo nenze le boloka. Letlo nenze le lwana, le divorceana. Letlo nenze le cheatelana. Le lona la ntho tse seng teng ko manyalong, because some idiot is out just sowing discord in lenyalo la gago. Nyabazi la madoda bayahlanya bathatha abafazi babo maqeda lapho bese bayofahlakisa. Women by my ex, and sometimes they're so brazen as to ukufahlakisa igirl umuntu that was not even a girlfriend yakhona kodwa some chick that he was flirting with in the office because ufeel entitled and possessive to her being no one else's but his. Ngoba yena akakwazi ukuzisplita into 7. So uzothatha all those 7 women that he likes, that he has a crush on, and says, okay, this is what's good. You're gonna be single, so mina angizohlabeka about the decision that I made to marry uLerato. Ngichate uLerato. Kodwa wena pinki Lerato, Lerato number 2, mina Rinelwe and Tshegofatso. Ngiyanthanda nonke kodwa I'm confused. So I'm just going to keep on watching you striving. Let's Lerato after giving birth to children of baby daddies that don't make honest women out of you, so I can feel good about being the husband of the woman that I did marry while you just suffer. Ungakwazi ukuthandwa. I've learned my lesson kabana baditlhare. Lenjale that followed me around wako MTN, since I'm busy still to this day, right? The years would then progress. I then come back to social media because after 3 years of being underground, I realized, especially after COVID-19, that let me try and come back. Karabo alo olla di tshila tse ding. Kalo olla di ntaka di kenya mo morring. Kalo olla magotlo a tlhokafetseng ko dustbin ka wa kenya mo ntlong mo kitchen ka wa kenya mo ara microwave ka pretend ka re ke nama. Ka wa beya mo plating. Ka accommodate go lo jola le yet another devil worshipper. And the only reason why it happened again for a second time, even though I determined never again to date a guy that claims he's in Christ even though he doesn't know the Lord, was because I had been under so much pressure. I had been in attrition, I'd been accosted, I'd been afflicted. I had endured so much sorrow, striving, and persecution for years that now I was in Antarctica. So engenenge injanje that's out offering me even an iota of respect. Ngamlalela. And it was the end of me. This guy wako America is very similar to the one that I have just described in my analogy of the woman o divorcing monna wa gale wa go mo abuser, and she's trying to start a new life in a new province, a new city. Bese ayonigeza a chance. One guy, bese this dude, after letting him go from one date because he was rude to the waitresses, he was just not giving megana attitude and a footy megana was ukhuluma nomfazi, and he was giving red flags. You let him go after a very short season, Mara. That's enough for him to be your stalker for 4 years. That's enough for him to ukulandele mfa for 4 years ngoba ujwayele ukuqoma la yakhona. Engenenge nento ayifunayo la emgaqweni uyayithola. Uvela lahlela imali on the table. And chicks are like, oh, I'll take you. Women that take rubbish in their stride. Abafazi that keep on batlapwa ngamadoda. Hey, badula batlapuka ku di party. Badula bantse ba gogoka di singles ba fuwa di bold patch 35 rand da coin. Mo tlhogong ke di boyfriend tsa teng tse ba tupang di trampa ba puncha ba hlage di blue eye. 2 weeks later motho a teng o ko molongo wimpy o ja bega le the same fool. Basadi ba jwalo badula batlapwa ke banna ko di partying in front of everybody. And then next week ba go partying via with the same guy. Ba tloetse di cherry tse jwalo. Ba tloetse di cherry tse ragiwang mo sefubeng. Kaosane mo etsetsa breakfast. Kaosane mosadi wa teng o mo etsetsa breakfast, and she's out here making love to him, and she's out here showing him a positive pregnancy test. On some baby were about to be parents. Umuntu wakhona umkhahlele esifubeni night before. Mara today ki baby. Basadi that are such incredible crazy sycophants of crazy men. That la madoda laba after being trained for long enough by basadi ba hlanyang ba tlapuang go ditlapong ebe ba jola ba lo driver via next week with the same guy. They come into the lives of abafazi amafana nabo Karabo and they expect tina nathi siba ma sycophants. They expect rona le rona bo Karabo re lonka that rubbish in our stride. The guy from the US is like that. Type it out trapa di cherry. Type in fela tsa go draga cherry ko tlapong ka meriri. Batho ba shebile antsa screamer go sana anybody o intervene cause nna ha ke batlo bola. A tshwere stool and won't come to amsaba. The same moment the next week o tla be a bere lingerie a mo jivela. o tla ba a dancer sexy type of chick go lo tlhaga ba bitsang like a bust a lip a lo bula case ko police station next week wa kwala because monna teng o mo reketse mablomo le dieta. He was like that. Mara, would he ever tell me that side of him? No. Lo muntu mega pumetanyana. And yet I thought ukuthi lento lena was feasible and doable. Angazi ukuthi mengicabangani. You see, the thing is, the Bible says that when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was naked, you did not clothe me. When I was naked and when I was in prison and sick, you didn't visit me. So essentially, kunambazalwane that end up edanyani. There are Christians that out here are actual, genuine, blood-bought children of the living God. So I taught myself not to nyatsa men because of having had a criminal record, because a conviction, basically a man otwango jail. Ever since coming to Christ, I have had to retrain the way that I think about ex-cons, because the Bible makes it clear that nabo ngabantwana baka Jesu insofar as they are bantwana baka Jesu. Nabo kwamele bayovakashelwa, bayorespectwa, bayoregadwa, because the scriptures make it clear that the least on earth will be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Some of the most prolific saints of the living God are serving time today. So I had that mindset. You know, when you give umuntu a chance, I had that mindset yokuthi he comes from jail, fine. But kimzalwane, prison on earth ain't jack. Joe, Mara, you see, umuntu that's been in and out of jail and he like proper found himself there. So he kept on breaking the law. He did not get redeemed in prison, and neither did he go to prison because of his faith, or neither was he wrongfully convicted. He did these things as a professing Christian. He's never repented. So frankly, what crimes put him in jail in the first place, he is still able to commit them. He is still a wife beater. He is still an attempted murderer. He is still because he's never been redeemed. So you then go, Karabo, and throw yourself into the hot water of an ex-con that's never really truly repented. So you are putting yourself in the way of Ted Bundy, a handsome criminal. You're putting yourself in the way of like Moses Sithole, Jack the Ripper. You're putting yourself in the harm's way of a prolific gangster, Opume Danyani, with the baby mama having stayed faithful the whole time because we are Msaba. You put yourself in the path of a man that was even set free out of prison, not because he served his time, but because COVID-19 slapped the planet. And America, California made a decision, that state, to set some of the most prolific criminals free in the spirit of social distancing. Lendo Tayapuma, even the baby mama was shocked, or the wife. The wife at the time went and I'm divorced because the wife went and had 2 kids while he was in jail with 2 different other men. So that divorce. So he was twice divorced. This guy's stats, twice divorced, ex-con, never really truly gave his life to Jesus Christ, but claimed to love the Lord. And tell like a whole bunch of dollars. Took care of me when nobody else was taking care of me, and started speaking a whole bunch of smack Christianese all up in my grill. And when he initially was talking to me, because he was just some wacko on the internet. I know, because I told you, in the occult, they're like, okay, and they go to their little drawing board in their shrine. They then bewitch you. Balong ka snepe sa gago, ba lo se tshela ka cigarette smoke, ba lo se tshela ka fenugreek, ba lo se tshela ka pepere le letswai, ba lo se tshela ka hamang skral, like an entire little town. Ba lo tshela senepe sa gago ka UFO dust. Ba lo bua incantation le mathe a teng. And then they go and they release seminal fluid on it. Alo ikenya mo ga ja mo saiteng. Aba khutla are, so what do you say now? Remember, I told you that korobela ya sebetsa, even on Christians, if you're not vigilant and sober to see it for what it is. First and foremost, indoda korobela tends to have no fruit. So that's how you flee. And secondly, you are gonna dream njefela omo batla, omo rata, omo khotha, omo leka, omo momona, o sa tlhaloganyo re grandship why o le attracted ga kana mo rubbish. And then you're gonna think these are your own feelings. But if you are any kind of smart, you will recognize ukuthi lo muntu lo ungidlisile uphume kuyi. then he will be avoidable like the plague, like dung. You will avoid it. Kodwa mina around that time, Lenjale that knew I had a spiritual gifting and an aversion to witches, Wangshang cloaking spells. I kept on seeing something, but I wasn't sure what I was seeing, and I was in so much pain, and he was providing for my every last need. But guess what he did? Because they always do. Like, it's just so like clockwork, always all up in their business. He was so freaking rude. He was rude. Guys, no one has ever been that rude to me. I've dated banna badi rubbish. Got by that level of rudeness, and it was that rudeness that broke us up. And where does he get off talking to me like that? Not only that, he ghosted me one time after I interrogated what he did for a career, like to make money. Because he didn't have a straight job, and then ghosted me. One ghoster. That was it. I was like, he's arrogant, this guy. For 2 seconds. I proposed a marriage within 5 seconds. Yaba my fiance for 2.5 seconds. Marakatala po kulma na mi like I'm rubbish. I got that mo aba nghosta because ke mo buditse ngata fela hore o etsa tšhelete jwang. Asa batlong tshompa Karabo eleng straight. Aba borwa ke taba hore ke botsa dipotso tse di ngata. And because he thought I needed him because ne ke sena tšhelete, a ke re o tlwaetse latelwa morago ke di type tsa go tlapa di cherry ko tlapong. Cherry ya teng of which next week ba jaiva via together. So when I expect just like the way that ana khona tlapa di cherry back in the day ka teng be di lo ja pizza lena go panagotisi the next Thursday. When I expect then like ke tla go pela ina ke ntse ke ja pizza go panagotisi a qeta ng club. Spiritual club because una le kwa America monna una le violent guys. But now I was like, I'm sorry, I've seen this before. Ngaphuma kuye within 3 weeks. It's been 3 years, almost, and he is still stalking me. After ngaphuma kuye, wangzama bring back lost lover, wangzama death rituals on a loop, on and off. Again, I age her overnight, so she looks closer to her age, which is 40. Make her obsolete or baska mona. A freezer YouTube channel yaga, a freezer Facebook. Yo guys, I don't know this guy say loyang, and you know it's a voodoo. Ha channel yaka ya hola abona okay, in spite of the my channel is growing, ya decide le rubbish ukuthi yena uzopatala $1,000 whopping to a Satanist witch doctor was at Jamaica to block me, and after spell sale freezer in my YouTube channel because God gave him his reprobate mind. It took me a year to conquer Satan. My channel started growing again, and that's when I invested in more and more sorcery to kill me. Mara by the time then the second time around when my channel was now growing, the subscribers. Unfortunately for me, Karabo, that has been stalking me for 3.5 years now. For 3 years now. Going on 3 years, 2.5 going on 3 years now. I know shame because my channel grew, because I conquered, I fought, I succeeded. Unfortunately for Cran K, given that my life conditions are what they are, I then amassed for myself 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 more of the same guy, Wako America. Oh, guys. When I just first came back to YouTube, it was this guy, Warika Ihevok. Gwabuya, my ex Gwabuya, the one from MTN. And then my channel grew, kabonake a whole lot more men, ngaqala ngalandelwe muva ngamajenzi nje manini. Kalatelwa morago ke bana ba nyetseng ba bang patlakile nyansi, ba bang patlakile second wife, ba bang ba batla ho sia basadi ba teng ba tle mona e le di divorce bang phe bana ba bona ba 7, ba bang ba sna taba bona le ngolaza. At the end of the day, anything that they want they get. Abange ebathong, guys. Yo, yes, like it. No, shame. The past, like 24 months for me has been a disgusting spiritual war, fighting some of the biggest, most prolific perverts in South Africa, some of whom are so powerful and they're such respected men in society that no one would ever imagine that they would endure an innocent, suffering 40-year-old, at the time I was 38, woman through so much hardship, and then go back home and eat dinner with their kids and wife. Baboshi baba tshwarisitse mosadi that is being left to dry up nkare segwapa and die while these men watch recital ya bana ba bona ya ballet ko sekolong. These men have rap sheets that will make some of the most prolific gangsters abashed, because they also get away with every last murder they commit. They look like honest men, they look like honest people. And yet gangsters don't have as big a body count as them. Gangsters have got police looking for them. Like all of South Africa has put up posters saying wanted, wanted, wanted. Ain't nobody looking for these guys because there's no smoking gun. Nieces and nephews are dropping dead in their families and they're thinking, it's misfortune. Karabo, of which is a blood-bought, born-again child of the living God that's consecrated to the Lord. Mara tshwantse nna ke lo ba mistress, because the batlwaetse o thola what they want. So ha ke re ntho e etsagalang mo South Africa is a widow maker. Basadi towe ke le ka tlhaloganya, time is up. Joy ya lona ya December lebalang ke November ka jeko ka di 13 le ka lebala. December ga gona December. Ha gona December. You know, festive season, it's like in South Africa, I would imagine it's probably global too. It is a tragic time for very many families, and a lot of families also struggle to enjoy your festive thing because last year gushonu temp, last year gushonu spusiso, last year megune accident thing e had no gushonu tsufatso no pule, right? A whole bunch of people are to be passing away. Mom and dad died on the way to Limpopo, on the way back from KwaZulu-Natal. There's a lot of road accidents going on around this time of year. It's tragic, but it's about to get even more tragic. Like, the thing that makes December Christmas hard is Tabaore on the 24th of December in a car accident because Nebatwa partying Washoni cousin. So December is no longer what it used to be. Aksekom nandi, I'm a cricket day that we would pop out, bring out really pope, really bomb, really light ka New Year's Eve. Aksekom nandi ngoba around the same time cricket in gang violence because I want to remember on New Year's Eve the festive season creates a lot of crazy on the streets that then makes a whole bunch of people die, that make then certain families unable to enjoy the festivities of the festive season. Well, this year festive season yalona is going to be dampened by mafu abatu because of the occult. And no, they're not gonna die just from car accidents or ukusangana kwe festive season abantu nje ba drag racer or abantu nje badutshulana or abantu nje baphuza themselves to death. They're gonna die mafu are very anticlimactic. Adutsi fela moto a finisher up go officing, about to go to leave. Asa tswe officing, asa tsamaye atlo tholwa CEO. Adutsi twirling on a chair, ke cleaning lady. Atloka fits. No, not from suicide, but from just whatever natural causes, a stroke. Abanye bazophuza amapilisi nje out of the blue. Asatsebe motho otipaswa king, the very same thing elinketsanyon, where you're trying to make me suddenly commit suicide, and so therefore make it December yabantu bagithi also very nar. Next year ba gopolo re Karabo o thotswe a dengela. Mantwa gaga a lenga fela ka montle re ipotsa gore nare motho we hengile for what? So ga go sa tloba le thabo anymore ka December. Go ahead, so le batla cause a situation ill. Well, the Lord is gonna give you that which you're trying to do ka December. You are trying to cause a generally very happy time to be freaking sad for some family members because you went and literally embarked on a recruitment drive around October, end of October, all of November, to bring new occult practitioners just so you can finally get to Christians. I get. Well, God is going to give you the dim, funeral dirge, somber mode of melancholic nuances. Uzonikeza all of that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Rather you instead of abazalwane. The camp of the living God, the camp of saints, Stina, at it, sine Passover blood ningazohlala. There is Passover blood over jarete ya koheso. Khona le Passover blood over jarete ya bazalwane or jarete ya bazalwane ba advocating on behalf of Tina. And abantu esipathandezelayo nabo kune Passover blood. But the rest of y'all, go empty nje sonoro. There's just nothing but tumbleweed rolling around in the cosmos. In the spiritual realm, the angel of God is not going to see anything sealing you from striking your firstborn children dead, striking your husbands dead, striking people in households of men that do this to women. Because mamelang, ha ba no o toba le stokarasa for years, se sa batlong go tlogela o qeta go tswa ko more trauma enjena. Like assault in injuries. Umfazi has already been killing amadoda antsa le busy antsa gwaza batho ka di kitchen knife ba ntse ba mo kenela ka kitchen bosigo a robetse ba mo kenela abantu ba gqekezayo ebusuku. How many of them must I stab a year? How many of them must I fight a year? How many times must the police come to my house and take a statement? How many times? Mina, do I have to keep on moving from pillar to post because of these stalkers? I even moved my YouTube channel Galokala Animation ke lo patas fatlego saka cause ke feel nkare me ba tlantsa kota ba re ke mopile. Bangtola dajo, bangtola go animated channel where I had masked my voice, I had masked my face bangtola. So I came back to my YouTube channel. If at all you can move from one house to another, to another, to another, to another, in order to successfully flee from your stalker on that day, kwamele lenja ishone angish. Kwamele ishone. Like hahona solution. And as one jaka hadi stalker radisa, they don't get vimba, they don't get arrested by maponisa because, you know, there's nothing you can prove.